Yo, what's good YouTube, and welcome to the channel. My name's David, and today I want to talk to you guys about weddings, everything about weddings. With the abundance of people getting into photography, videography, there's a lot of you guys who want to get into weddings. Because of that, I wanted to share a few tips and tricks and my personal experience of getting into weddings, because the hardest part about doing it is actually getting started. There's so many ways to get started, but a lot of you are just so confused as to how do I get into shooting weddings? How do I not ruin someone's wedding day by doing it for the first time at their wedding? Today I want to talk to you guys and run down everything about getting into weddings, beginning shooting them, what to shoot, what to expect, the things that go on during weddings, and the things to kind of piece it together and kind of run down how I like to think about it and how my mind goes through it when I'm shooting weddings. Get your popcorn, get your snacks, get your water. This is going to be a super long video. You're basically going to be watching like an anime episode. Let's get started. So first things first, how do you get into weddings? How do you get your feet wet? How do you dip it in the water to get started in weddings without ruining someone's day? There's three ways. You could, one, actually just shoot a wedding straight up without ever having shot a wedding before and risk ruining their day, but letting them know that, hey, this is my first wedding. I'm willing to pay you a lower price because I've never shot one before. But if you're okay with it, I'm okay with it. It's gonna give me experience and help me know what I want to do. If you're cool with that, let's do it. That's one way. But I don't actually recommend that way right away. Another thing that you could do is shadow somebody. Now, shadowing someone means, if you want to pay me for this, can I tag along with you to shoot a wedding? I'm trying to get into it. But a lot of times that is actually kind of hard because you have to coordinate it with the bride and groom. You have to find it at the right time. You have to find someone willing to bring you along. And if they don't want to pay you, you might have to be okay with that. If you're just starting, it's your first wedding, and you're tagging along with them, they may not be making enough to even pay you, or they may not just want to pay you at all because they're doing you a favor as opposed to you doing them a favor. Shadowing someone is an awesome way to do it, and it's also, you know, semi-inconvenient, but at the same time it's really nice to be able to do it. The way that I got into it, I shot engagement photos for a couple. A few months later, they hit me up like, hey, we're getting married this day, we want you to shoot our wedding. When you do that, you shot the engagement photos, the couple knows exactly what to expect from you. They know what you're capable of, they know how you shoot, they know your style, they know your delivery time, and they know your prices. That way, they can coordinate with you, figure it out, and know that they resonate with you, that they match with you because you shot their engagement photos. So they're like, we really love the way this person puts out their work. Let's hire them for our wedding. That's how I got in. And honestly, I think that is a perfect way to get into weddings because shooting the engagement leads to their weddings. And if they like it, they're just gonna keep hiring you. They're gonna recommend you to their friends. That's exactly how I got started. I did not shadow someone. I didn't just jump into the game. I started with engagement photos. The engagement photos lead to so much more because they trust you. It's their way of work, your professionalism, the way you build relationships with your clients and your customers are going to give you a lot more work, especially with them and their friends. But in all honesty, it's different for everybody. So it's whatever you are comfortable with and whatever you want to do. So however you find your way in, just get your way in there. When you're shooting weddings, you have two jobs. You gotta capture the things that the bride and groom will remember so that they can see it again and be like, oh yeah. You gotta capture the things that the bride and groom won't remember. Pretty much gotta capture everything. Literally everything. Your job is to help the bride and groom remember their special day, commemorate it, make sure that you get all those tiny details that you wouldn't even think are important, but you get it anyways because definitely they'll appreciate that. They'll be like, wow, we didn't even know that that was there. We didn't even see that. I didn't even remember that, but man, that is awesome. They will appreciate every little detail that you can capture because it will help them remember their day, and it might even like change the flow of the entire video because you captured that detail. So just make sure to capture everything. Even if you don't think it's super important, but you know, just a tiny bit important, capture it. Just those small details like the bridal party having fun, all these smiles, all these laughs, the little shine on the shoe, the little bling of the ring, or just like the way that her veil flows or something. But we're gonna get into that with each little section. So now we're gonna go over the parts of weddings. Now this applies to most weddings. A lot of weddings have different things going on because of cultural differences, because what I shoot are Americanized weddings with a little bit of culture tied to them. So I know that a lot of Asian cultures have like a tea party, and Indian weddings have 2-day stuff, and there's so much that goes into it. Every wedding is going to be a little bit different. So I'm going to go over 3 or 4 parts that tie into all weddings, because of course they're all going to be categorized differently. Things are going to be added. Sometimes they don't even have some of these parts, but it kind of categorizes it the same way. There's preparation, there's the ceremony where they actually get married, and then there's a reception where they kind of celebrate afterwards. Those are the 3 kind of parts: preparation, ceremony, and reception. Let's just jump straight into it with the first part. Can you guys guess what the first part is? If you guess it was preparation, you're wrong, because the first thing you gotta do is get the client, handle the client, and negotiate with them. You gotta remember that shooting a wedding is more than just shooting the wedding. It's handling the client, making sure that you are a good contractor for them, a good freelancer for them, and letting them know, I know what I'm doing, I am professional, I will capture your day in the most amazing way possible. You can trust me, let's get this work. You gotta convince them to hire you, because there is a huge, what do you call it, market for wedding photography and wedding videography. So you gotta put your standpoint in there and give them what they need. Explain to them, be persuasive, and show them I am who you need. So the first part is negotiating. You're gonna tell them, this is how much I charge, this is what I'll give you. I'm gonna give you a 5 to 6 minute highlight reel, but most of the time they come out to be 9 to 10 minutes. So you might even get extra, but it's gonna be at least 5 to 6. I'm going to give you a few social media clips. I'm gonna give you screen caps. I'm going to capture the prep, the ceremony, and the reception, not just the ceremony and reception, because a lot of times people will leave things out because they don't want to be there to capture it, or the couple isn't paying them enough to be there long enough. So it really depends on your package. How long are you gonna be there? Where is it gonna be? How much are they gonna pay you? Are they giving you a down payment? You gotta negotiate all this with them, and you can always end up making more than they ask for or less than they ask for, depending on how well you negotiate. This comes down to you. How persuasive can you be? How much do you have to show? And how much are the bride and groom willing to pay for your works? When they look at your portfolio, how good is the stuff? Do they have high expectations? Do they have low expectations? What do you have to show? Do you have good work? Now, it doesn't even necessarily have to be wedding work. It could be some very super cinematic stuff to show off, and they'll be like, wow, this person looks like they know what they're doing. But then you also have to kind of show a little bit of love stuff, a little bit of engagement, a little bit of wedding, you know? Just show them like, I can do this. I can capture your day and make it look beautiful. Because even though some people might be really good at shooting like cars and food, they may not be able to shoot people. Everybody has their own little groups, their own little niches. I tend to stray into everything because I want to expand my knowledge and learn everything. Weddings are people. Weddings are love. Wedding is cinematic. Wedding is product shots. Wedding has a ton of stuff tied to it. Now, once you've got everything tied down, you've negotiated everything, price, down payment, all this stuff, throw together a contract. This protects both of you, not just them. Protects both of you, because let's say you end up not being able to show up to the wedding and they paid you already, you gotta refund that. In my contract, it says that if I don't show up or something happens that I can't make it, I'm gonna give you your deposit back. However, on the other hand, if they cancel their wedding, if they end up not getting married, sadly, I get to keep my down payment. It all comes down to the contract. Verbally agreeing is one thing. You can always say, yeah, they messaged me on Facebook and said this, but if they never sign that contract, they're not really legally tied to anything. I trust my clients, but most of the time, especially during weddings, they want to sign a contract because they're paying so much money and they want to make sure that they're getting what they're asking for. Contracts are really good to have. Make sure you guys throw together a contract. Maybe I'll even throw like a contract template in the description. Check it out. Maybe I will. I don't know. But this contract is going to include everything that you guys talked about, from the down payment to the product to the revisions to the editing to delivery to all of this stuff. Everything is gonna be on that contract that you're gonna put together for them. Then everybody knows what you're getting, who's getting, who's showing up where, and you know how much you're getting paid, and everything is finalized and ready to go. Another thing that a lot of people may not do that I honestly love to do is to check up on my clients. Once a month, I'll check up on them before the wedding and be like, hey, how's everything? Is everything still good? Are there any changes that I should know? Is there anything that you need from me still? You know, I like to ask them a lot of things. I like to put together a shot list beforehand, check in with them, be like, hey, I put together a shot list. I want you guys to sign off on it. If you guys want to look it over for a little bit and, you know, add things, add some shots that you might want, like maybe they want to add extra shots of family members in them and all this stuff. Sign off on that, add it in, and send it back to me in an email so I can make sure I have everything that you guys want. You know, I like to check up on them. Build a working relationship so that they have a good time, they trust me, they feel good about having me shoot their wedding, because how would it feel if you hired a wedding photographer or videographer a year before and they never talked to you that entire year until the day before? You've honestly just forgot about them, and you'll be like, they will probably question, is he gonna show up to our wedding? Like, just stay in contact, check up on them, talk to them, make them your friends, because that's how you get recommended. Lastly, make sure you're prepared to shoot the wedding. Make sure you know exactly what's up, because you don't want to be running around with a 20-pound setup and not know what you're doing, because you could be running around and it could be a huge venue where you got to run back and forth over and over, and you're carrying this heavy camera on you and you're like, ugh. Just know what you're doing, know what you want to bring. And that leads into the next thing. Prepare yourself. As the photographer or videographer, your job is to capture their special day. Now, this means you need to be prepared, maybe even more prepared than they are, because their memories lie in your hand. So you gotta ask yourself, am I gonna use audio in this video? Am I gonna grab some audio clips beforehand? Do I need time to record them before the video so I can get some clear audio of them speaking, reading their vows, or writing letters to each other, reading those letters? How are you gonna color your photos? How are you gonna color your video? Is there a specific style you wanna go for? Is there a specific color scheme, a specific palette that you wanna go for? Are you gonna be doing handheld? Are you gonna be doing gimbal shots? Or are you gonna just use a tripod or a monopod and just follow them around with that? Who knows? This is stuff to think about. Do you need lighting? Lighting is a huge thing. A lot of venues are super dark, so make sure you bring lighting if you need it. If you bring flashes, or you can bring continuous lights, or you can bring off-camera flashes, you know? There's a bunch of things to consider, and you need to think about them all. One thing that a lot of people forget is the shot list. A lot of times having a shot list of photos that the bride and groom want is super important, which is why I always check, because there's a lot of people to take care of. You gotta take the bride and the groom, the bride and the groom and the groom's parents, the bride and the groom and the bride's mom, the bride and the groom and the mom of the bride, and the siblings of the groom with the bride and the groom's grandparents with the parents and the siblings with the bride. I've lost track of it, but there's a lot of pictures to take. I honestly don't even know what I said, but there's a lot of people, lots of pictures to take, and having a shot list, checking that off as you go, is going to help a ton. Oh, and make sure you guys wear a boring color like black or white, because when you're up there shooting, especially on first dances, at the reception and at the ceremony, you don't want to be wearing a bright pink dress shirt or dress and have this huge ready rig and Ronin coming up hey guys, don't mind me, I'm invisible. No, if you stand out up there, you're gonna ruin the wedding, because everyone's gonna draw their attention from the bride and groom to you, because they're like, who is that? Why are they, standing out? So I always wear a black dress shirt with some black dress pants and black shoes, and I carry my Ronin S, just a tiny little thing, something that works, something that's good to go and won't be in the way. Now, honestly, I don't do it often, but be mindful of the other photographer or videographer. They're gonna get in your way, and you're gonna get in their way. Grab your shots, get out of the way, let them continue, and then, jump back in maybe. But honestly, if they get in my shot, it's fine. I try to get the shot anyways. I don't care if I end up in their shots, and hopefully they don't care if I end up in theirs. They probably do. But honestly, it's not that big of a deal if you end up in their shots, because it is the big day of the wedding, and it happens, especially if you're doing video, especially if you're doing photography, especially during those first dances and everything, because I like to circle around woo for the dances. I like to go around the couple, so I'm going to end up in the shots, but I don't care. Now let's move on to the actual wedding prep. The bride is going to be the first one we're going to talk about. The ladies. Let's get started with the ladies prep. Let me say that wedding prep isn't always in weddings. Now, there's some weddings where the prep just isn't possible. I shot a wedding where the groomsmen all got ready before even getting to the location, so I honestly didn't have much to shoot. But prep is really good to have if you can get it, but not all weddings are going to give you prep. You're not always going to get hired to do the prep. Completely fine if you don't, but I definitely recommend shooting the prep because so much goes on during preparation, and it's like just beautiful. Those last moments before they get married are those super special ones that they really want to remember. Preparation is all about details, so make sure you grab so many details of objects, makeup, hair, hands, emotions, all this stuff, and let's just jump into it. So ladies prep. First things first is the makeup. You're gonna have makeup artists, you're gonna have a hairstylist. All of them are gonna be there. They're gonna be doing hair, they're gonna be doing makeup. Grab those hands, grab those laughs, grabs the close-ups of the makeup brushes and the eyes opening and closing and all this stuff. Hair being twirled and ironed and straightened and all this stuff. Wait, hair doesn't get ironed. Back on those details, accessories. Accessories are super important. The bride is going to have a lot of accessories, necklaces, bracelets, jewelry, shoes, the dress, the veil. Capture all of these because it's super important to capture all of these before they're put on, just to kind of add in as a beauty shot, a B-roll. Well, I guess the whole video might be B-roll. A lot of stuff, a lot of context, stuff you can use as filler, and lots of details that they're not gonna remember because sometimes brides return their stuff afterwards, so they want to remember what they were wearing. They want to see what they were doing and just capture those small details. I like to shoot my accessories, especially those ones with the shiny, glimmery stuff next to a source of light so that you kind of see it go kind of, so like show it off a lot. Next thing is the emotion and the faces, because these are going to be those moments that like the bride watches and like, I'm so happy that she had fun at my wedding. I'm so happy that they're laughing. I'm so happy that they're enjoying my big day with me, because emotions are everything. It's what adds personality to the video, so make sure you guys capture those emotions, the ha-has and the oh my gosh and the tears and all the excitement, the hugs, the handshakes, everything. Emotions and faces are super important to any video because it adds so much character, so much personality, and so much personalization. Now these next ones are the big three that you cannot miss ever if you're doing prep, because it honestly is so important to the bride. She spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on just these three things for you to miss them. Don't miss it ever. First things first is the dress. Putting the dress on. A lot of people just need to get the buttoned up dress where the bridesmaid or the mothers help button up the bride's dress, because that is commemorative. It's super special, and honestly, it's the only thing anybody really needs to see, because if you catch anything before that, she's kind of naked, but you don't want to capture that. Just the buttoning up of the dress, pulling it up, tightening it, making sure it's good to go. That is super special. Capturing them from a wide angle, capturing them close up of their hands, details of all of that, and just show off the dress. Get those details of the dress, make it look super nice, super special. She spent $5,000 on this dress. You need to show it off. And you can't forget the veil. The veil is super flowy. When the light hits it, it just lets off this amazing light that just adds for such an amazing shot. Now the veil isn't, all that like pop in your face, but it's super amazing. Like it adds so much character. It makes for amazing cinematic slow motion shots. It flows. It's just really nice to have. And having that veil is super important because it pretty much is the dress. It makes the dress wedding, like those two go hand in hand. And the last thing is the heels. The heels are gonna be the hardest part. It's shoes. And it's gonna be hard for two reasons. One, it's because it's gonna be hidden under the dress, it's gonna be shot on the floor, and it's gonna be super hard to kind of show it off. Second is because it's really hard to get a creative shot of you putting on shoes. So this comes down to you. How well can you capture the shot of her shoes being put on? Now there's so many different ways to do it, and a lot of it comes with luck because she's only gonna put them on once because it's so hard to put on heels, especially under the wedding dress. Most of the time the bridesmaids or the mothers again are going to help her put it on. Try to grab that shot as best as possible. It's going to be a little hard, but you gotta manage. And lastly, once she has everything on, this is when you get your beauty shots. The beauty shots are gonna be those shots of her just looking good. Looking good by the window, looking good in the lobby, looking good wherever. Just looking good in her dress, her veil, her shoes, smiling, emotions. Just make it look cinematic, make it look beautiful. Make her look amazing and show her like this is what you looked on your wedding day. This is what you look like. Amazing, right? Good job. Now, we honestly can't forget about the men, but remember this, you have to get them simultaneously unless you have a second shooter. So you gotta kind of coordinate with the bride and the groom and let them know, like, let me know when you're about to put on the dress. Let me know when this happens. Let me know when that happens. So the way I like to do it is I spend about an hour or two with a bride, capture all the makeup, capture the hair, capture all the emotions, get them ready. And then right before they put on the dress, about like 20, 30 minutes before they put on the dress, I like to head down to the guys, with the boys, and then comes right back up before she puts on the dress so I can capture all of that footage. Because honestly, all you need are 10, 15, 20 minutes with the boys, because boys getting ready, they honestly just have to get dressed, put on their boutonnieres, and help each other out, and that's it. You still gotta capture it. So let's get started with the boys. The first things first, the emotions, faces, once again. Capture those boys, have them their drinks, cheers, toasts, everything, alcohol, and dapping them up, like, just emotions, because it's the final moments before he gets married. Gotta make it special, gotta show it off. The last day with the boys before you get married, which is crazy. Just think about it, it's insane. Then you gotta get them getting dressed. Now this is super easy. To be honest, the most important parts are them like ironing their clothes and putting on their jackets, fixing their ties, putting on watches, get those details in there, make it really close, get those macro shots, if they have the rings, capture the rings. Most of the time the bride is holding on to the rings, but you can capture those, get them, set them up real nice, get those details of the rings in there, all of that good stuff, get them getting dressed. Now, putting the shoes on for the guy is something you want to capture, but it isn't as important as capturing the bride's shoes, because yes, the guy spent a lot of money on his suit, his shoes, and he wants to capture it, but like, just do what you can. It's gonna be a lot less cinematic or nice as the brides. Still gotta get it. And yes, you guessed it, we still gotta get beauty shots of the groom, because the groom looks nice too. He put on his suit, he spent hundreds of dollars, maybe even thousands of dollars on his suit, his shoes, getting ready for all of this. Pictures with the boys, beauty shots with him and his boys, just everything. Make him look good by the window, sitting down in a chair, holding cup of coffee or something, make him look good, make him look amazing, and let him remember, yo, this is what you look like on your wedding day. And now, after we've covered both sides of prep, we gotta talk about the first look. Now, the first look doesn't happen on every wedding, but it happens on a lot of weddings, and this is when the bride and the groom see each other for the first time, dressed up in the wedding dress, in the suit, ready to get married. And this holds a lot of emotion, so you really need to capture this. I like to shoot this in 60 frames per second so I get some real time, plus I can make some slow-mo if I want it. And I follow the bride. I follow her from the front and I kind of pull it so I can see the groom after I get to a certain point, and then I circle back around and I get them in the middle. That way I can see tears, I can see smiles, I can see people like, wow, this is emotion right here. You gotta let them know. You gotta let them know. This is what you felt when you first saw them. This is how you reacted. This is how you felt. So if you're doing photos, try to get those up close shots. Try to make it real tight, just so you can see like emotions. Like, this is ideal. Like, you get the face of both of them. So two faces in that frame, crying, smiling, just emotions all over. Emotion overload. That's what you want. Now, I'm gonna explain this now. It's gonna be a part of it later also, but sometimes after the first look, this is when the photographer and videographer have time with the bride and groom to take pictures with them and their families. So if you're a photographer, this is your job to capture all those images. That shot list I mentioned earlier, this is the time to do it. And there's so many different things. So hopefully you got that shot list. So you got to take the bride and the groom and the groom and the groom's family, the groom and the bride's family, and all that good stuff. A lot of pictures. It's pretty easy, but there is a lot of pictures. If you're a videographer, tag along with the photographer. Grab some awesome shots, make some things happen, just for some extra stuff, some filler. And sometimes, if it's not after the first look, if there's no time, it's in the ceremony venue, it's after the ceremony. So it really depends on the wedding. Once again, you gotta coordinate it with the bride and the groom. Most of the time, the wedding coordinator will have this planned. She'll give you a list if you coordinate with her. It's a lot of coordination and working together to figure out when you have time to do other things. Throughout the day, I like to capture some beauty shots of them alone, because I like to see if, hey, are you guys busy? Can I borrow you guys for a second? And then I grab them, pull them to the side, and grab some amazing beauty shots, because this is something that they'll definitely appreciate, because they don't really see it. You actually went out of your way, took the time to take them when they were free, not stressed. If they're stressed out, if they're all over the place, give them some space, give them some time. You gotta like respect that their time is here. It's a lot of responsibility to, you know, host this wedding for your family and everything, and there's a lot of stress. They're super stressed during their wedding day, so trust me, just wait a little bit. Now, once you've got all your shots together, you guys have some downtime before the ceremony, so you can relax, so you can, you know, take some time to unload, get some food, get some snacks, drink a little bit, you know, a little bit of water, freshen up, just chill out, just relax, and then you head over to the ceremony and the ceremony venue. Also, make sure that you stay on schedule. Now, the bride and the groom may not even realize they're off schedule, but make sure that you know the schedule so that you can be like, hey, just want to let you guys know that we are taking pictures, but we only have 10 minutes because on schedule, it says that we're supposed to be in the ceremony by this time, so that leaves us about 10 minutes. So let's knock this out real quick and head on over. They're gonna appreciate that. They'll definitely love you for that because they're super stressed. They're all over the place. Their mind is everywhere and they kind of just want to sit down and relax. Making sure that they're on time, even when it's not your job, is the best thing that you can do for them, and they'll love you for that. Finally, we're gonna move on to the ceremony. Now, a lot of things happen in the ceremony, and it's really up to you how to shoot it. It's really up to you and stylized by however you want to shoot the ceremony, because all ceremonies are a little bit different, but they all hold pretty much the same thing. So instead of telling you how I shoot and what happens there, I'm gonna give you an idea of exactly what happens. All of this stuff you wanna capture. You basically wanna capture the entire wedding. So first things first, the things that you don't really necessarily need to capture, but probably want to capture is guests, the venue itself and everything. So go through the venue, capture like the details of the walls, the whole venue itself, like a wide shot pulling away, and then guests talking to each other, guests mingling, and you know how packed it is, so that the bride and the groom can realize, wow, we had a super big wedding. This is what the venue looked like. These are how many guests were there. This is the size of your wedding. It looks super nice. Good job on your wedding. So anyways, let's break down the wedding ceremony so that you know exactly what you need to capture and kind of think about how you want to capture it. First things first, the groom's parents walk down the aisle. Next comes the bride's mom, sometimes with the brother or sister, the sibling, and then comes the groom. Following the groom is the bridal party. Now, sometimes they come individually, so men only and then women, or sometimes the men and women come together, which makes it a lot faster. And then the bride and her father or whoever's going to guide her down the aisle comes out. This is super important. You definitely need to capture them walking down the aisle, whether it's from the back or the front, from the side, you gotta get it. Once she's down the aisle, she's greeted by the groom, and then the groom and the bride's father shake hands, hug, whatever it is, and the father gives the groom the blessing to marry his daughter. Then he takes the bride up to the altar, they stand there, bridal party on both sides, and they begin the ceremony. Then the priest and the marriage officiant read their stuff, read the script, say a few things, and then the bride and the groom go down to greet each other's parents and welcome them to the family. Most of the time. They go back to the altar, exchange rings, man to woman and woman to man. And then they hold hands once again, and then they get wed. They do the I do's, they do the vows, they do all of that good stuff, and then they say, you may kiss your bride. Then it's the first kiss. You don't want to miss the first kiss. Make sure you're in focus, whether you gotta manual focus it, make sure you're in focus before even pressing that button. You press it halfway, get that shot in focus before the kiss happens, and you just hold that button down. Because if you miss that, your career is over. Just kidding, it's not over, but it's super bad to miss that, so make sure you get it. After they have their first kiss, they're gonna be like, yeah! So then you get that, yeah, that's like a super intense emotion shot, because like they're like literally just married. They're like, oh, finally it's over, and they're happy, of course, yeah. But then they walk down the aisle together, audience in both sides cheering. They're like, yeah. And then an amazing shot to get is halfway down the aisle. They just grab a shot of them just like together, holding hands, walking down the aisle with the whole crowd behind them with their phones like, yeah, yeah, you know, all those parents and everything grabbing that shot, and you know, it just looks super amazing. And then after that, the bridal party, the parents all follow, and the ceremony ends, and you move to the reception and the cocktail hour. Again, ceremony goes by really, really quick. It's like 30-45 minutes. Most of it is waiting. So you gotta really get in there, get ready, get started, because it's super, 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 super quick, and there's no time for mistakes. So you really gotta get in there and shoot it. So think about it beforehand. A lot of times I like to run around the venue and think, okay, if I shoot here, I can do this, this, this. Like one wedding I shot, there was, 5 pillars 4 pillars, so 5 sections. And I made it so that every time one of the bridal party passed through a pillar, they changed. And that was me on the spot thinking like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do for the video, because there's just enough pillars to when I get to the top, it's gonna be at the bridal party. So all of these should be on your list to capture during the ceremony, whether it's photo, whether it's video. These are the things that you should be capturing because they're super important, and these are things that are tied to most weddings, like 90% of weddings. You gotta capture these. They're super important, and it's pretty much the whole entire ceremony. If you miss anything, you kind of just missed a huge chunk of the ceremony. Each part of that is like 8% of the ceremony. You add that all up, you just make the whole ceremony. So don't miss any of that. And usually between the ceremony and the reception, there's 2 things. One is the family photos. Now, if you didn't do it during the first look, you do it during the ceremony when everybody's done and there's more guests, more family. You take those pictures. You know, people will be like, oh my God, I want to take pictures with you. So you take pictures with them, and then it's good. And then the cocktail hour starts, and then you get details of drinks, details of snacks, details of food, details of people mingling. This is the cocktail hour where you get to relax a little bit, but make sure you're still doing your work. You can have a few drinks if you want, but make sure you're still doing work. You just go around, grab that camera, grab those handheld shots if you want any kind of shot, just grab it. Details, up close, macro, isolation, things that you want the bride and groom to know that they may not be able to see, because honestly, during the cocktail hour, I never see the bride and groom. Like, they're gone. I don't know where they go. They probably go upstairs, relax a little bit. They chill out because after like 6 hours already of ceremony preparation, they're tired, dude. And you're already tired by that time. But you gotta keep going, and so do they. So you go out there, you grab those details, you grab everything, you grab emotions, you grab faces, you grab hands, you grab food, you grab snacks. Maybe even head into the reception venue itself. While it's empty, grab details, grab the wedding cake if it's not already out. Grab a bunch of other things. If it's already out, just grab it. Grab table settings, you know, just above shot, looking down, you know, the dance floor, just the whole space in general. Candles, table numbers, guest list, signing books, and all that stuff. Grab all of that. Now, those are your shots that you can take before the wedding. And if you do grab the wedding cake shot before the wedding starts, the reception starts, make sure you grab details. Like, get up close. Get those little flowers on the side of the cake, those little ripples, the little, like, you know, ornaments on top, just everything that comes on the wedding cake. That's super important. They won't remember it, and a lot of people wouldn't see it from far away, because remember, your wedding video and all your wedding photos are gonna be seen by the entire people, everybody that came to the wedding. Everyone's gonna see it. So you gotta put on a show. You gotta make sure you pay attention to detail. Now let's jump into the actual reception itself. The first thing that to happen at all is the bridal party entrances. Now this is fun. The reception is where the energy comes out. This is where you go from transitioning to a slow ceremony, something sweet, to something high energy, to lively, jumping around, crazy. This is like fast paced kind of stuff. This is the entrances. They come out dancing, they do some funny stuff, they jump around a little bit and have fun, hype up the audience in the reception. They're like, woo! They go around like, yeah! So many different dances. And they come out, bridal party, parents, they come out, and then at the end of the entrances, the bride and the groom come out. They're the biggest show, they're the biggest crowd. They go, wow! And then they come out straight onto the dance floor into the first dance right away. They don't just, you know, stop and take a break. They go straight into the first dance. So you got to be ready for that. So when I do all the entrances in whatever frame rate, whatever quality, when the bride and the groom come out, when you know they're about to come out, I switch to 60. I shoot in real time so that I can grab some real time footage along with slowing it down if I want to. Record the whole thing in its entirety, and you want to go around, you got to make sure to get different shots, because even though you're recording in one big take, you don't want to miss anything, and you want to, you know, get different varieties. So I like to run around the entire party like in a circle, like woo woo woo, so that it gets kind of variation of the bride and groom dancing. And then sometimes they'll switch straight into, well, most of the time they're gonna switch straight from the bride and groom dance to the groom and his mother dance and the bride and her father's dance. Same concept. I like to record in 60 real time so I can slow it down if I want to. Make sure for all of these dances, get some close-ups, get some facial expressions. Just like the first look, there's going to be tears, there's going to be kisses, there's going to be smiles, there's going to be conversation, there's going to be so much stuff. Make sure you grab the details of the ring when it's wrapped around him. Like, there's so many different things that you can capture. You just got to really think about those small details that people don't even think about, capture them, because that is what is gonna get you recommended, because attention to detail is everything. Everybody loves someone that can pay attention to those tiny details. Like, have you ever had your girlfriend ask you like, so, what's different about me? So many times. Now, after these dances, dinner is going to be served. Everyone's going to be eating, they're going to be enjoying their food, and this might be the time where you get to eat if you did not eat before. But remember this, you're on the job. You're working. Of course, you need to eat. What I like to recommend is, if you have to eat with everyone else, grab some food, take a bite, grab your camera, go out and shoot. Come back in like 5 minutes, take another bite, go back out and shoot. Grab footage of people eating, grab forks, grab the food being served on the table. All of these details, again, attention to detail is gonna get you everywhere. And then the maid of honor and the best man are going to give their speeches to the bride and the groom. Now, these are very intimate moments. I like to record them in the entirety, also in real time, and record audio, because who knows? Maybe I'm going to use that audio. Lots of emotions. There's going to be tears. There's going to be hugs. There's going to be high fives. There's going to be a bunch of different things. So capture them. Whether it's video or photo, make sure you capture them. When they're giving the speech themselves, just be prepared to capture any emotions like hands up or toasts or anything. You never know what's going to happen. So just have your camera ready. Have it on your face like, okay, I'm waiting for you to do something. Just have it up. Have it ready, because you don't want to miss any moments. Hold on, I gotta switch my card. Literally only have a minute left of recording available, so I gotta switch my card. Hold on. Okay, now we're good to go. Card is unloaded and I'm ready to record some more. Back to where we were. Where were we? Okay, after the speech. After the speeches, everything else is gonna happen. It's gonna go to the cake cutting, bouquet toss, the garter toss. There's gonna be a bunch of stuff that you need to capture. So this is all super important. You wanna get that cake cutting. You wanna get those details of the knife going down. You wanna get the faces, the facial expressions. First time that the bride and the groom share the cake when they feed each other. That's really cute, because, you know, kisses happen there too. And then you also want to get them at the table when they're eating. You want to get like a nice shot of them, because most of the time on the table there's like a Mr. and Mrs. thing. It's real cute. Lots of things can go down there. Capture some footage there. Make it look good. There's also the bouquet toss, where the bride takes the flowers and throws it into a huge pile of girls. And then the opposite, where the guy gets his groove on and takes this garter off of the bride, which is usually on her ankle or her thigh, depending, and then takes it and tosses it back into a pile of guy. Then after that, whoever got the flowers, whoever got the garter, they sit down, they do this thing, and it's pretty funny. It's really entertaining, and it's a really nice thing to capture, because it adds personality, lots of emotion, lots of high energy, lots of comedy, lots of stuff. Capture it all. And then the dance floor opens. So you want to grab a bunch of people dancing, and then the whole reception, there's a lot of stuff going on. There's probably a photo booth, there's lots of food, people eating, people talking, people conversing, people dancing. Capture a bunch of stuff. Excess footage, because the reception has so much personality, so much liveliness to it, that you just need to capture everything. So make sure you go around, spend a good hour or two capturing the entire reception, and then from there, that's it. You're done. You literally just shot a wedding. Congratulations, you made it this far. If you're still at this point in the video, you are a trooper and you are dedicated to learning how to shoot weddings. You made it. Congratulations. Here's your diploma. You've graduated. Go out and shoot a wedding. But if you are a photographer, you're not done yet. The bride and the groom are gonna go around running through each table, greeting them. You want to be able to capture a photo with each table of the bride and groom, with everybody and their guests, so that they have that memory. And you're gonna probably need a flash if the venue is very dark. Make sure you go around with them. Stick around with them, make sure you know where they are, make sure they know where you are most of the time, if not all the time. After that, once you think you've had enough shots, you're all done. Get out. From there, it comes down to the editing, and the editing is completely up to you, how you want to style it. Remember, I told you guys to think about it beforehand so you can base it off the shots you get, from the music to the color to everything. Base it off the vibes that you got from shooting that wedding. Base it off of the shots that you already got, you know? Just think about the wedding itself. How did you feel shooting it? What do you think would fit them? How did they feel as a couple? What music did they play? Everything here will give you an idea of what they like. So you piece all of that together and you give it to them. Hopefully they like it. If they don't like it, you can make another one for them. A lot of times I get feedback, and it is so nice to hear. Some of them said, yo, we cried so much reliving that wedding through your video. Or, you know, some people just absolutely loved it and couldn't stop watching it and all this good stuff. It comes down to it and makes you really happy. I love shooting weddings. That's all for today's video. What is that, like 30 minutes? 40, an episode of an anime and more, 2 episodes. Thank you guys so much. If you guys have made it this far, thank you so much for all watching and supporting this video. It's crazy insane that you guys stayed this long. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you aren't already subscribed. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Leave me a comment below. Let me know, what is your craziest experience shooting a wedding if you've already shot a wedding. But if not, what do you think the craziest thing would be? Are you gonna shoot weddings? What are you looking to get into? Why did you even click on this video? Let me know in the comments below. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Make sure you guys stay tuned, and I'll see you then. Thank you so much. Gonna go drink some water because I've been literally sitting here talking for so long, and it's getting really hot, and I'm dehydrated. So I'll see you later. Peace.